We'll kick off with the Queen Anne now. Obviously, it's going to be Ribchester to lose, you'd think. Godolphin are looking for an 8th win in the race. Has anyone got any strong thoughts on whether Ribchester can be beat? We'll start with you, Nick. Is it a formality?
I've got a strong thought that he's going to win. Yeah, rather than the other way around. Richard Fahey said he doesn't see the ground being it. He's not going to use it as an excuse. He's not going to use stall 1 as an excuse either, and neither should he really. I think he's the best horse in the race, pure and simple, and he's been on a massive upward curve ever since he finished 3rd in the 2,000 Guineas last season. It's just a relentless upwards march for Ribchester, and he's just a really likeable horse. And I think if he was in another stable, maybe he'd be even more of a firm favourite. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there could be a perception that Richard Fahey's a great trainer, and you've got a sprint handicap at York, and then he's your man. And he's had good sprinters in the past, Mason, Group 1 horses, but, a fantastic Group 1 miler. He hasn't had one of them before, but it doesn't mean that Ribchester isn't a great horse, and I just thought there was loads to like about his win in the Lockinge last time out. I can't see any reason at all why Lightning Spear should reverse the form, although if
you disagree with Lewis, who was on the other day then, yeah?
He was on with me, and he was putting forward the claims of Lightning Spear. I can't see it myself. I think there's a lot of ground to make up. I think he's very versatile regarding the going. I don't think that's the problem for him at all. The interesting thing for me about the race is there's 16 runners in it. When in the Queen Anne did that happen before? And people are obviously willing to have a shot at Ribchester, but I just think he's fairly bomb-proof, and I think he'll just win.
Right, nice and simple. I think it's quite good there's a big field. It gives people a big selection to choose from if they do want to take on Ribchester. Brendan, is it as simple as Ribchester wins for you?
Yes, unfortunately, I haven't got a lot to add to what Nick said. I think the point about the ground is a very valid one. I mean, he should have won the race in Goodwood,
Sussex Stakes,
the Sussex Stakes, well, indeed, on quick ground last year. So I don't think that's a big worry. And you're scratching around behind them. I mean, they're Group 2, Group 3 horses, aren't they? So yeah, I couldn't really find anything to take them on with.
And have they been ploughing into Ribchester? Frank, how do they bet for the Queen Anne?
Yeah, Ribchester's our 4-5 favourite. Lightning Spears 9-2, Muta KF 6-1, Deville 14-1, American Patriot, Dutch Connection, Enad are 20-1, and we're 25-1 bar. Ribchester's the one they all want to know. He'd be in plenty of doubles with Churchill, you'd imagine, and maybe a few other sorties throughout the week. Look, he's the most likely winner. You can't dispute that. He was brilliant in the Lockinge. Everything points to him. Lockinge winners, 4-year-olds, owned by Godolphin, have a tremendous record in this race. So he's going to be hard to beat. Now, while I do think he will handle fast ground, I think he's just absolutely brilliant with a bit of cut. If it was good to soft ground, I would say he's an absolute certainty. But with the ground being fast, I would give a massive each-way squeak to Muta KF. I'm not sure if he can beat Ribchester, but you only have to go back to last year. He put up a decent performance, win the Summer Mile over this course distance, and he ran a belter in the Juddmonte at York over two furlongs further when he was behind Postponed and Highland Reel, and he was hampered in the closing stages. He may well have been second in that race. If he could run up to that form, he would give Ribchester a right race. And on his favourite fast surface, he's as big as 8-1 out there. We're under him a little bit. I think he's an each way bet to nothing.
And you don't worry that he's not had a run at all?
Well, he ran a Maidan, and the ground would have been unsuitable. But it wouldn't worry me. It's not like he's coming back from 8 months off. It's 3 months, not even just shy of 3 months. It's fine by me. I'd definitely take a chance on him. I'll be having a good each way betting him tomorrow.
Okay, I quite like Deauville at the prices. He's been supplemented. I think he'll love the ground, and with the 2 pacemakers in, if they go really quick, I think he could run an all right race. Any thoughts on the US Raiders, American Patriot and Miss Temple City quickly, Nick?
No,
not really interest you?
No. No.
Nicely done. Just a quick stat for you that no winner has started at longer odds than 20-1 since 1946. So I think it's all Ribchesters to lose.
Can I give one thing on the American horses? I've been informed by international traders that Miss Temple City, if you can get a match bet between the two of them, Miss Temple City is a good thing to beat American Patriot, by all accounts.
Right, very good.
That's
Okay.
floating around.
Well, she has been switched to this race, hasn't she? So that could well be a good point. We'll move on to the Coventry Stakes. And Frank, can you kick us off with the prices, please?
Yeah, Brother Bear's our favourite at 9-2. Arawak 5-1. De Bruyne horse 6-1. Dinar 13-2. Murillo 8-1. Nebo 12-1 along with Rajasinga. Romanised and Zaman are 14-1 and we're 20-1 bar.
Okay, well, Aidan O'Brien's won this race 8 times in the last 20 years, Nick, and I know you're really keen on Murillo. Just give us a refresher as to why that is.
It was his last performance at Tipperary, really, because you can forget the one at the Curragh the first time out. He made no show at all. But then what he did wrong at the Curragh, he did everything right at last time. He travelled nicely. I thought there was a huge amount under the bonnet. I don't think Shamie Heffernan really got to the bottom of him at all, but he still went away and won very stylishly indeed. And they were very quick to nominate Royal Ascot afterwards. I'm slightly surprised that he's going for this race. So I think he had a few entries during the week, could have appeared in one of the kind of, not the lesser events, but the Coventry is like the pinnacle, I think, for these 2-year-olds. So it's a vote of confidence that they're going for this race. And it's also interesting that the lads, as they're called, they own Arawak as well, who's one of the Wesley Ward horses, who's actually shorter in the betting than Murillo. But I just really liked the way he won at Tipperary last time out. I thought it was a really strong performance. He's had 2 runs now, so he's got the experience. I would expect him to take another big leap forward here and go very well.
Yeah, I think I checked yesterday and Murillo was around the 10-1 mark, and I was sort of thinking that would be quite a big price if he went. I'd be surprised if he went off that bigger price. I think if he won, you'd end up sort of thinking, well, it's O'Brien and Coventry Stakes, why have we overlooked it? So it'd be interesting to see if any money comes for him. Brendan, have you got any strong thoughts on the Coventry? I love Brother Bear. What do you make of him?
I'm very taken with Brother Bear myself, Maddie. Particularly the race in the Curragh, which mightn't have been the strongest listed race in the world, but I thought he did a lot wrong in it. I didn't think he was in a great position on the track. I'm not sure he loved the ground. The maiden he won in Leopardstown, the 2nd and 3rd have come out and won. So I think the form's okay. It's just the race, isn't it? I mean, this looks a really deep race, like deep. This I just,
don't do that.
Okay,
I'm quite alarmed.
Go on, Brent, do it again.
just 9-2 with so many legitimate contenders. I'll probably chance him though, because with 2-year-olds, you kind of have to. This is
Brother Bear. You chance.
Yeah. You kind of have to believe your eyes, don't you? And I was really taken with him in the Curragh, so I'll probably back him.
I think he'd be better on better ground as well, won't he?
Yes.
Come on, Frank. Give us one of your, fail-safe bets. Who wins the Coventry?
I think I have the winner, to be honest, and it's a bit left field. Yeah, I can see the case for both the horses the lads put up. My worry with Aidan's one, Murillo, would be that the profile of his past winners of this would have been once race maiden winners, and Murillo, of course, was beaten in the Curragh. Look, it's only a small thing, but yeah, it just turned me off a small bit. The one I really, really like, and I watched the video about 4 times this morning, was Charles Hill's horse, Nebo. I remember pricing up that maiden at Newbury, and we got bowled over for Westerland and the Hannon horse Billy Dillon. It was just non-stop catch for the two of them. This is a maiden that Richard Hannon had used a few times to launch Coventry winners. I think Strong Suit and Canford Cliffs both won that maiden and came on and won the Coventry. This Nebo absolutely tanked through the race. Won easy. He got about 2 little taps of the whip, won by 2.5 lengths, very cosily. Just to put the form into context, the 2nd Westerland has won. The 4th Grand Couta was beaten by apparently one of the best Godolphin 2-year-olds at Newmarket, beaten ahead. The 6th Billy Dillon won at Bath. The 7th Light Lightning was 100-1 shot in that maiden, won at Sound Claimer. The 10th was beaten ahead by a hot pot of Richard Hannon at Windsor, and even the last horse hacked up at Yarmouth in a maiden. So the form couldn't be working out any better. After the race, they compared him to his dad's Coventry winner, Red Clubs, and to me 14-1 is huge. It's another one I'm going to be having a right bet in this.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a quick look at this beforehand, and I know he won really easily. 14-1 does seem a massive price, but as Brendan says, it's a really, really deep race.
The fascinating thing as well about this race is it'll give us our first glimpse of the Wesley Ward horses.
Yes.
We're led to believe he's got a very strong team. I'm sure he has. I'm sure he'll go back with winners this week. As to which ones, it's very difficult to weigh up, isn't it? Because we haven't seen much of them. They've never raced over here. But, if you see this Arawak turning up, he looks like a 4-year-old in the 2-year-olds race, then...
as they tend to do, don't they? Yeah.
They do, yeah. Taking one stride to everyone else's 3, then we could all be in trouble. But that's part of the guessing game of Royal Ascot, isn't it, with the 2-year-olds?